The year was 2015, and it was my sophomore year of high school. I was taking and failing a class called government. Now, I needed this class to graduate, and so all year I was failing, and in the fourth quarter, I managed to put a project together and pass by just 1%. Now, what comes next is most important, because all my life, my dad's been the one to lecture me and give me the motivational speeches that go through one year and come out the other. And this time it was my mom. And this was different because she'd never done that, and she kept going on about how I was being selfish to them by not applying myself and not wanting a career for myself. And I thought to myself that this wasn't true. And later that night, I was in the bathroom and I was looking at myself and I couldn't recognize who I was. And I didn't like who I was. And that's when it hit me that I had been selfish. All of high school, I realized that our relationship had been going in a direction that I didn't want it to. I preferred social media and my friends over them. And I realized that I didn't want that. And at that time, they had been working 7 days a week, both of them, and it got to a point where my mom had fainted. And my dad was still working all this time just to pay the bills. And so during my junior year, I decided to get a job at Target to help lower their stress. And what my schedule looked like that year was wake up at 7, go to school, come back home from school at 3, go to work at 4, come back home at 9, and then do homework, and it was just like that throughout the year. Except halfway through the year, my mind was tired and my body was tired. And I didn't know if I could continue to keep going. But every time these thoughts came into my head, I would think about my mom and how she's a woman of faith. And she covers herself from her head to her toes. And she has to deal with unwanted scrutiny and discrimination every day of her life. And she's a hero for that. And when I thought of that, I was like, my job is easy. And so that's what kept me going. And then around March time of 2016, that's when an invitation from Genesys Works came to my school. And then this was like the biggest real-life pop-up ad I'd ever seen. It said, welcome, you can win $10,000. But when Mahan came to my school later that month, he actually convinced me, and I don't think anybody else could have. However, I was still undecisive on what I wanted to do. I was like, should I choose this and put my trust in this, or should I continue to focus on school and just keep doing what I was doing? But when I told my parents about it, they became ecstatic. And that's when our relationship began to turn in the positive direction. And so I went through the training, and my mom began to gossip to her friends about, oh, my son is in IT and he's learning. And my dad was coming home every day with a smile on his face. And that helped a lot. And so at the end of the summer, I was offered an internship at LMI. And I like what I'd done so far. I know I'd made my parents proud. But I didn't know if I wanted to wake up every day and go to a job that I hated and tie a noose around my neck. But when I got to LMI, they were some of the nicest people I'd ever met in my entire life. They treated each other like family, and they all loved their jobs, which meant everything to me. And now when I look in the mirror, I see that guy, and I'm not ashamed of him. I like who I am. I'm a happy guy, and I'm proud of who I am. And that was all because my parents were able to support me, and Genesys Works was able to give me hope that I could not only help myself in the future, but my parents as well. And I don't want to stop there. I want to continue to make my parents proud and go to college and then come back and work in a professional environment. And after that, I want to help all the other Zayds out there that don't realize their potential, because either they don't have the faith in themselves or the people around them that will give them that faith, or they don't have an opportunity like Genesys Works. And so I want them to be able to look in the mirror and be proud of who they are. Thank you.